I've been called names in the past and in the present, and probably will continue. And one of those negative names have been called. You could also look at it as positive as well. And one of them is um, holier than thou. I've gotten that so many times, both publicly, online, and even private. People will send me some nasty messages, or even on the phone calls. Using the phrase that I'm always claiming holier than thou. That I don't engage in, sharp kind of malpractices in making money like average Nigerian does. So I always claiming that I don't do those things and pointing out how bad it is. So I'm always claiming that I'm better than those people who does that do that. So all the kind of names. But the interesting thing is whenever I hear such, yeah, I even feel very proud, when people do that. You know, they say, "Oh, I'm a very prideful person, proud." I say, yes, I am. I don't even uh, hide it. You know why? Because I have the same opportunity every person in Nigeria or who consider himself a Nigerian has to do the same thing, but I chose not to, knowing that it will be just like a norm. I will do it and get away with it since it's like I said, it's a norm in Nigeria. But I chose not to, and I will never do it or engage in such practices. So it's something I hang as a pride when I'm being accused of such things. Not even an accusation, because if you are doing it, it's no longer an accusation. Yes, I do it. I don't do, as in other words, I don't engage in such things. So, which brings me to this video. I know I've done a video or a similar video to what I'm going to talk about today. The degree of thievery when it comes to people car vehicle parts in Nigeria, specifically the Peugeot brand. I've talked about like the ignition coil and the rest of one or two models of Peugeot engines that people should be mindful and be aware that this is going on. In fact, that particular video brought that kind of comments, being sent to me via email, and even WhatsApp messages. Now, some of these things they do go on behind the curtain, and the vehicle users don't actually know. It's not everything that so you come and go online and start pointing fingers. But then, like I say, it goes behind. It happen. These things do happen behind the curtain. You know, Sometimes it be settled quietly. Sometimes it goes beyond that. People do give me their vehicles to diagnose and repair, or to supervise, or in terms of repairs or other places, or for various reasons. And sometimes some of these diagnoses and repairs, I do it myself. I don't get any second or third party involved. I handle it all by myself. Do it in my own private time, my own private pace. Do everything. The person know that the car is now good to go. The person will come and pick the vehicle, or I even deliver the vehicle to the person, depending on our arrangement. Why some of these diagnoses, depending on the issue with the vehicle, may require somebody probably more experienced on that particular issue than I am. No matter what you do, you can't be good at everything. I mean, I don't even want to be good at everything when it comes to everything in a Peugeot vehicle. I'm not interested in doing panibiting work. Not even interested in learning how to repair AC or air conditioning system. Yeah, I might have basic knowledge how they work, but it doesn't mean I intend or have interest in knowing how to do the repairs. There's nothing wrong with it in knowing that, but I have zero interest. Same goes with automatic gearbox. I don't even hide that one. I post it online. See, I have no interest. Don't even like driving them, not to think of even doing repairs on them. Of course, it will fetch me money if I go into it, but like I said, I have zero interest. And so many other areas of vehicle where I could say, okay, no point doing this. But since the person has entrusted me with this car to find out what the issue is, I will take it to somebody who is an expert on that particular subject or system of the vehicle that I trust that could be able to do it well. But then this is where the problem is. You might trust the person to be able to fix the work or do the diagnosis and the repairs based on the knowledge or of that person on that particular system or experience, or based on you already know that when it comes to stuff like this, he's very good at it. But you cannot be able to tell how trustworthy the person is in terms of other aspects other than the repairs or the diagnosis. Is it the person that will dupe you in the process? Is it the person that will steal something from the vehicle if you leave the vehicle unattended with the trust that the person will be able to not go beyond what he's asked to do on that vehicle? Is it the type that may even abscond with the vehicle, take the vehicle, run and you won't even see him? It has happened a lot of times. You hear cases where people take their vehicle to be repaired and the mechanic will just take off with the car, or the panel beater or whoever relocate, leave the town, to go with the vehicle, probably sell it off anywhere, and that will be the end. Nobody will ever see the person. So there are cases, and so that's why I'm saying the person may not be good at what he does, but then the other aspects of what I would consider a norm in Nigeria that comes with a big responsibility and trust issues. When people give me their vehicles to repair, that I know, okay, this I will have to involve a second or third person. There are some works, like I said, I would rather do myself without getting anybody involved, no matter how long it takes. Why there are some I would say, even though I know I can do it, but for it to be faster and probably I don't have all the tools needed to do it. For example, I don't have tools to pull out an engine and drop. Even if I can dismantle I don't have that tools to do all that. So I'll need to take the car to a workshop and have it done there. And once you take it to someone's workshop, it means the person has to be involved. The best you can do is two of you do it together. And of course, you supervise the work. Right? So this thing has been, like I say, these people who are actually technicians in automobile or owns workshop will understand specifically what I'm talking about. These cases upon cases going on every now and then. So bringing it specifically to why I'm doing this video, it's about the degree of vehicle Peugeot parts or Peugeot vehicle parts that people steal with impunity. Mechanics, technicians, electricians, they steal. As a reason why this happens is, like I said, is a norm in Nigeria. Meaning, it doesn't mean every Nigerian does that. But it's like you may even be considered a fool when you don't do it. And even when you raise an alarm, they will be like, what is your problem? You look at this person holier than thou, as if it doesn't do that, as if there's anything wrong with it. Is it now? What is wrong with it? As long as you are not caught, there's so many things, so many ways people will even want to they condemn you for being against such act. Go online. Like I said, there are so many names they've not called me. Some people will even go without even specifically stating why they are, being so vicious or hateful. They will just find something else to put on to say, oh, the Lion King is this, is bad, and this and that. Now we are looking at catalytic converter. That's the image we are looking at right now. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. So don't get me wrong. Don't try to say, oh, have I been sleeping? Are we trying to say it's only in Nigeria they still catalytic converters? But there's a reason why I'm pointing this one out. Now, you might think, oh, it will be easy. If somebody steals your catalytic converter, you know immediately. You may not. Like I said, if you're not a technician, if you don't understand this system, those of us who we know, there are some Peugeot models, depending on the engine ECU program, that you can remove the catalytic converter, the catalyst, or what they call Indomie, and it will not give you any goddamn sign that it has been removed. So this is the kind of knowledge some of us who are into these repairs of Peugeot vehicles have. We have this knowledge, and some of us, some among, we use that knowledge to dupe, to cheat, to steal from our clients or customers' vehicle. This pass. Because you know that if you remove it, considering this, once you remove catalytic converter, cost very, very high. Used, new, it doesn't matter. These things cost. Could make over 100,000 just for one vehicle. For stealing from one vehicle, sometimes it could be hundreds of thousands. And being serious, like I said, people don't know all these things. I'm just pointing them out. You'll be surprised the kind of backlash I'm going to get from this video for, again, being holier than thou, or exposing some of the ways technicians in Nigeria steal from Peugeot users. Like I said, I'm not saying it's everybody, but I know a lot of things go on beyond the background that people don't know. We all come out publicly and then pretend as if nothing is going on. So with this knowledge, they will gut it out, the comb inside the car. So see, you are looking at this place now. Let me zoom closer. That particular cylinder is where the comb is inside. The stuff that is doing the filtering or whatever. You call it comb, or whatever name they will call it. Maybe there could be other names. So they don't have to cut out your exhaust port, this cylinder, remove it. No, all they need to do is find a way to open up the cylinder where you may not actually even see it. Depending on the design or the location of this cylinder, all they need to do is probably drop your exhaust system, drop it down a little bit, cut it open from the top, remove all the stuff inside, weld it back, and tight it back. So you could even look, you even see any sign that something was done on this particular cylinder. You start the vehicle, you may not even hear any sound. Like I said, it all depends on the model. We know, those of us, we know the ones that you could open and it won't give you that kind of sound to say that, oh, there's a hollow noise coming from the exhaust system. And there won't be any warning electrically. The car will not give you any warning that catalyst is faulty or absent or something is wrong with your injection or emission system. You may even put in a scanner. See, I'm telling you, put a scan tool, diagnostic tool. Run the engine in the engine EC, it will show you anything that the catalyst is absent. Drive off your car. Probably you may never ever know. You may use the car for years and you won't probably ever know that someone has stolen your catalytic converter. Probably by the time you know, maybe you now meet someone else that maybe a different technician or somebody years or months or days later, depending. Maybe they are trying to sort out a different issue and the person may like mention, I hope you are aware your car doesn't have catalyst. Then you might be surprised. And by that time, how will you even know where it was done? You can't say, oh, it must be this person, because it could be years before you even get the person your vehicle to fix. Or it could actually be that person. So this is something that isn't. Well, I'm telling you this, like I say, it's not peculiar to Nigeria, staying on catalytic converter, but the peculiarity in this case is they usually stay the ones that will not give you that alarm. Because they realize, oh, if you remove catalyst from this particular vehicle with this engine or with this engine ECU, it will not give catalytic converter fault on the instrument panel, or what is it? Yeah, instrument panel. Or instrument panel. Yeah, even instrument panel in terms of check engine light. Or it will not show the warning on the multifunction display of the navigation screen. Or it may not sound like the catalyst was removed. So how would the owner know? It may not even give any drivable issues. It may not even increase the fuel consumption. So he will never know. He or she probably will never know. Unless somebody tells the person. So in that case, why not steal it and make 100, 200, 300,000 depending? This has been going on and on and on and on. So it still comes back to what I started this video with. Trust issues. Leaving your car with a Nigerian mechanic who might be very good at doing this kind of repairs on that, but then on the other side, he just applies that Nigerian mentality. If not caught, there's nothing wrong with it. Even when you are against it, you'll be seen as a bad person who's trying to kill other people's business or way of making money. Now, what's the solution? Solution, you might say, okay, do you mark it? Is there any way you can like I said, they will even need to remove your cylinder. They won't have to remove it, no need for that. You just find a way, cut it open, do that, put it back. So that you may not even see, depending on how mischievous or skillful the person is or experienced that person is over time in stealing this catalytic converter from his customers or clients' vehicle. He may do it, he probably have learned a way he can remove it, and it will be very difficult to spot that the catalyst that it was even tampered in terms of on the body of this cylinder. So you see, it comes down to what's the solution? Trust. Who do you trust? Who do you know so well that will not do this? That you could, because I understand, oh, you must stay at a workshop when they are doing all your work on your vehicle. I would be very stupid to say, it's not possible that you may have a reason or need not to be there, or sometimes. There are cases that you bring a vehicle and the work will require 2 or 3 days repairs. So the vehicle probably may have to stay there and sleep over. Or probably you are there and the work will start and halfway something needs to be provided before it will continue. and which may take some few hours or thereabout before that part or something, that thing will be provided. So in that case, you may decide, okay, let me go and do some other stuff in your life or other engagement activities that may take you out of that workshop. So you can never, there's no way to say, you must be there all throughout the repairs. It's not possible. Even me with all this knowledge, I still find myself sometimes I will be taken away from the workshop or even my own vehicle. There are some things I will say, oh, I don't need to bother myself. Yeah, I can do this. I don't need to bother myself doing it when I can pay somebody else that can also do it better, you know. Or can do it as well as I do, or I can supervise to do it exactly the way I do and pay him some money, rather than stressing myself, my body to do it. Something I can afford to pay somebody else to do very well, the way I want it. So I'll go ahead and give the person. So sometimes I may not also be there all the time with the trust that the person will not go beyond what I've given him to do on the vehicle or on my own vehicle, depending on whatever the issue is. Yes, I've trusted people in the past, and it got to a point I realized it was a very big mistake. I work with so many mechanics and technicians that issues like this will come out at a point I will pull out. Sometimes, how will I put it? We'll reconcile, right? With strength or plain understanding that, see, let it not repeat the second time, or this is who I am. So don't ever try to get to this boundary. There is a line. Don't cross that line. You tried it before. This happened. Next time you may not get the opportunity again. So we may continue, or for whatever reasons. Like I said, people always tell me, oh, you're always trying to play, look at you, always trying to show you are better, you are a good man, you are this, always trying, like I said, holier than thou. At the end of the day, you might be a victim to this same thing I'm telling you. Yes, I might be playing holier than thou, but I don't know. I mean, I don't. Sometimes I say, okay, maybe it's because I'm a monk, So the way I perceive money is not the way every other man, probably a married man or a man who intends to marry or anything, because they have some responsibility. So sometimes they find themselves in a tight situation that they may have to go do some things that probably they are not proud of to make more money. But for me, I'm the only responsibility I have. Yeah, I may have other people I care about, but me is my only responsibility. I don't have a legacy I'm building treasure for. So I'm living until I'm done, or until I'm no more. So whatever, as far as I'm concerned, my monthly earning, whatever that comes in, is enough to keep my lifestyle exactly the way it is, or even more. So, like I said, I'm not living to build some kind of, I don't know how to put it. So I don't pursue money the way most men do. So yeah, that maybe it might be easier for me to live that holier than thou lifestyle. Probably because from day one, or maybe my personality, not just because of my life I've chosen to live for the rest of my. Maybe my personality could also be, or probably because I was disciplined in the seminary to the point that I know this is black and white. So I came out in the life and continue with that, that formation, that training I was given. So not everybody will understand. So you just have to, a solution to this is very difficult to provide because I don't even know how to do that. Or probably you just have to risk that trust until the person will prove truly that he can be trusted. That is the only way I can see around this catalyst issue. That is the only way. You just have to risk it. If you have the time to stay all through, fine. I'm not saying maybe your nature of your work or something give you that time to go to workshop and stay all through. Or maybe maybe if you have enough resources, you could be hired, have a mechanic that can be coming to your house and doing all the repairs, no matter the nature of repairs at your house. In that case, you have to pay more because it's not what you consider outside work. So you have to pay more. So he will charge you more, but you can afford to to pay. So in that case, of course, it makes sense because he cannot do that crap in your compound. Because whether you are there or not, he will have to be careful because there are eyes now there to know when you start going beyond something or start taking out something. You can easily find he will not even try it. Whoever the person is, the mechanic, technician, will not try in your own house. Opening up your catalyst, got it out and weld it back. It's not possible. So it's a trust thing. You have to risk it until you find somebody you can trust well enough that sometimes you may leave your car knowing that your catalyst will still remain intact. He will not touch it. That is it. But understand, like I said, that you probably may think the catalyst is still there because it was there when you bought the vehicle, or after you purchase the vehicle, you replace it at some point, so you are very sure it's still there. I'm not honestly, it's likely it's no longer there, and you don't know. Just because your car is not warning you, your catalyst is absent or faulty, does not mean it's actually present in that vehicle or on the exhaust system. There's a way to find out. Probably may not even need a scan tool. If I want to find out if your catalyst is there, especially on some models, I don't need a scan tool. I have my own device for finding out whether the system is saying it's there or not. But some Peugeot models, it can be very difficult to do because of the way they design the catalyst or the location of it. So it'll be very difficult to actually check with the device I use to know if the catalyst is there, if it's not there, if it's bad or not bad. So what is there, it's working, so be very careful. Now, I want to mention some things. Now, this particular catalyst, they steal it. In other words, the ones that actually don't show sign when removed. Some of the THP engines. In other words, some of the injection systems that run with THP engines will not indicate when the catalyst is removed. You won't throw to a check light or warning on the multifunction display that something is wrong with your catalyst. Likewise, some VTI engine, VTI 120 will do the same. Some other Peugeot, even some ES engines, if you remove the catalyst, it won't show. Some will show. Like I said, it all depends on the ECU, the programs in the ECU. That will determine engine ECU. That will determine if it will give you that warning or not. Some will remove it, won't give you the warning. Alright, so it's not limited to a particular model of a Peugeot. So now you know. Now I want to move on to something else they also steal. Hold on. Now, this is high pressure fuel pump. HPFP. That's what we call it. It's usually located on THP engines. The natural aspirated engines, they don't have this. Well, it's not saying they don't have, but I mean, at least, I think this engine had it. What's that name? Is it EW10D? The EW10D had this high pressure pump, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, because of course it's naturally aspirated, then it's also direct injection. Is it direct injection? can't remember. Don't think so. But it has this. It could be. I've forgotten that system. So I'm talking about HPI. So THP engines is standard. They all have it. Basically, almost all turbocharged engines, not just only PSA or FCA, or you can current turbocharged engines, they all work, at least majority, if not all, work with two fuel pumps, one inside the tank, and the second one is usually mounted on the engine, which is the one they call HPFP, high pressure fuel pump. Now, for the THP engines, this pump wears out faster than the in-tank one, the one inside the tank. In fact, the one inside the tank hardly even fail on this Peugeot models with these engines. Could take eternity before they pack up. Except like 508, their own failure is not necessarily the pump, it's just the pump connector on that fuel pump assembly usually burn off. So once it burn, it will affect the assembly, that plastic case. So you'll be forced to change it. Other than that, they hardly have issues. So this particular high pressure pump is wearable. It's a wearable part on THP engine and fails. I'm not saying it fails often, every now and then, but then they do fail. Like I said, more faster, or even might even be the only pump you'll be changing throughout the ownership of that vehicle. The only fuel pump will be changing, not the one in the tank. So because of the nature of their work, that's why they fail that often. And then they are pricey. They are expensive. They are not cheap. Mechanics do steal them. You won't stop, because the funny thing about this high pressure fuel pump is you start the car will start. You move the car will move. Unlike the one in the tank that sometimes you start, the car will start and go off, or may not even start. This car, it will start and move. Except when you now want to push the vehicle, maybe. And funny enough, if you are driving normal, if you are not pushing the car hard, it will just be going. You won't even know. No check, no warning, nothing. It will just be going. But as soon as you try to push it hard, then you will see the power will just drop immediately. You see something is wrong. The warning will come out. It will start warning you, engine management fault, this and that. The fan will come up at high speed sometimes. It has its symptoms as long as you do not push the car hard. So how now do you secure yours? Now this one is even better than the catalytic converter, because the catalytic converter, like I say, it can be very difficult to secure, so that they don't steal it. But this one, you can actually scare them away from removing it. You might take it to a workshop and go out to spend like 30 minutes to come back to your vehicle and it has been changed, removed. Because like I said, it's pricey, costs over 100,000. Used one, not even brand new. So I can't even imagine how much a new one will cost now. Unless the used one maybe could find where they'll be sold less than 100,000. But I see, even when it comes to buying used one, you may test up to 7 units different. You keep testing that they won't work until maybe you find one that works. That's why I say they do fail, as it's one of the parts that fail often on THP engines, and they are not cheap. And because of that, that's why some mechanics in Nigeria steal these things. You won't even know. So what's the solution? How do you prevent them from stealing yours? Mark it. Find whatever it is. Paint, you marker, collection fluid. I'll mention how you can do that on one of my videos on ignition coil. Use it. Use your own handwriting, write, maybe your initial, something, whatever it is, so that the reason why you are writing it is not because they can't remove it when they see the mark, but you marking it means it will scare them from doing that, knowing that you can easily notice when you come back for your car that, oh, you are no longer seeing the mark on this your part, because you know your handwriting. Even if the person can see you write LK or you write MI, if you see something that is not you that you didn't, somebody else wrote, at least you know this is not your writing, that you didn't write this, you know. So that enough will scare them from removing it or swapping a dead one to sell your own and make money. And they may even sell yours back to you if you didn't mark it, because by the time you drive it, maybe after a day or two, you now notice, this car, what is wrong? It doesn't have power anymore. Something is wrong with this car. The engine is jerking. This one is happening. You bring it back. They'll tell you, oh, this thing. You give them money to go and source use one. They will sell you your own one, the same one they remove for your car. Sell it over 100,000 or more, or a little bit below, back to you. Or they'll sell to somebody else who has the money and willing to buy a used one. So market. Find a way to market so that when you come back, at least it's not hidden. You can, your eyes can actually go to. Don't mark it in a hidden place. That's the mistake most people do. If you want to do it very openly. I understand people don't like seeing different names on engine parts, all this identification mark. But unless you don't mind spending it, because if you put it on a hidden place, you will not even have the time. You will not check to so, because it's only when you remove the part that you see it. When you put it where that is very visible, when you open the engine bay, you are looking at it, your eyes will go to some of these things before you even take your car. And when the person see it, immediately you know, this man has not identified this thing, or if I remove it now, a big wall for me. You will look for another person to deal with. At least you save yourself from being cheated or losing that big amount of money, because once you fail, like I say, it's not cheap. Okay, so that is it. It's usually THP engines that have this for Peugeot anyway, that you find this. Moving on. Now this ignition coil. This ignition coil, some Peugeot models, their own, they steal them. Not all. For example, if you use a ES engine like ES9J4S, ES9A, don't bother about it, because their own hardly fail. Especially once you put that Delphi, the one with white top, those ones, they can actually last. I mean, I've never replaced any of my my cars coil with that engine. How many years now? So that's why I'm saying you don't bother, because it doesn't even move market like that for you to start bothering about changing them or marking them too. But if you can, hey, go ahead and do it. You never know. Some people might just steal it because they feel someday in future. So, but for THP engines, VTI engines, in fact, let me call out these engines that their own moves market like one, because they are not as durable as some of these other Peugeot engines. Ignition coil. You see THP engine, you see VTI 120 engine, you see TU5 JP4 engine, you see EW10 J4 engine and EW7 J4 engine. Almost these 5 engines, their ignition coils don't last. At least some of the brands of those coils on this engine, they don't last. I've talked about the EW10J4 and the EW7J41 on separate video, about 2 or 3 videos in fact, and articles, so that if you are buying, know the brand that will last for you. So notwithstanding these 5 engines I mentioned, the ignition coils move market like that. There's high demand for their coil, both new and used. So these are things that they can easily remove. Put one that probably that works, but after a while you start misbehaving. Put it for you, come and start your car and go. You won't know that it's no longer your coil. By the time probably you realize that maybe days, weeks, months later. So mark it, and the way you mark it is not somewhere under or in the middle. Let it be on top, where you is easily accessed. As you are looking at the car, you are seeing that identification. Find something to mark it, blue, red, marker, whatever, pen, pens, whatever you can lay your hands on. That once you put it there, it stays there permanently. Or at least before you can remove that mark, you have to scrape it. Like I said, you are doing it to scare them from removing it or discourage them. Let me probably use the word discourage them from removing it or from stealing it, knowing that you can easily find out that this was there when you bought the car and is no longer what is there now is no longer yours. Even though they try to rewrite the what you marked there, you can easily tell that this is not your handwriting. And probably they may not be able to find the same color or whatever you use in writing it, so you can easily tell. So, like I said, it's to discourage them. Otherwise, you keep wasting money buying coin every now and then, not knowing that you buy a good one, they will remove it the next day. You fail, you come back again, you keep buying, they keep removing. These are what some of the things some Nigerians do. This secret, you probably will never get it anywhere because, like I said, I'm holier than thou, remember. This thing go on in the background, in the behind the curtain. Most Nigerian vehicle users don't know about, which is some of the issues I do have with some people anyway, let me not go into details. Now, moving on. Now, this is turbocharger air tube for THP engines. So, these two, they do fail. It's not like they fail every now and then, but it's one of the valuable parts on THP engines. So expect at some point you may replace, or sometimes even more than once. There's a particular part of it that usually fails or break, cut off from the rest of the tube. If you look very well on the screen, you could see where this metal clamp, the other one, you can see the one that is dirty, dusty, that clamp is no longer here, but you can see the new one. There's a clamp on the opening. So that particular part, usually the one that is attached directly on the turbocharger, usually breaks off, especially as you are removing and putting it back. Anytime you need to work on the engine or something, you have to remove that too. So as going on and off, eventually it will fail. Just expect that at some point you change it. So the interesting thing is, I won't call it unfortunate thing, it's available, right? Mostly new ones, they are available, not too expensive, but then they are not quality or original ones. They are very kind of low quality, as far as I'm concerned, but they work. So because of the demand, these are things they easily still remove. And when you remove them, you won't even actually notice. If your own has failed, you won't probably notice immediately. Only that, there will be loss of pressure. But you won't feel it immediately because some air will be escaping from where it's broken and the turbocharger won't be able to do its work. So there will be loss of pressure. And remember, this particular tube takes filtered air from the air filter box into the turbocharger. So when it's broken, it means you'll be taking dust, whatever, straight to your engine, which will wear out the rings, the pistons, the cylinder walls much faster. So mark it. Yeah, I know it might look very untidy because of the location it is, but if you were my car, I won't care. I won't give a damn. Like I said, it's not about the getting original one is not cheap. Probably you may only get it like from Pan Kaduna. Open market, honestly I've never come across that original one. Yeah, these ones work, the online new one. But how long will they stay there compared to the original? If what you see the quality difference is much, is as the margin is very high. It's high, So market, find something to do it. If you don't want pen on it, you could use, since this one is plastic, you could use something and engrave on it so that it won't be so pronounced, the mark. But once you see it, you know, okay, this is you, this is your initial, this is your handwriting. Okay, moving on. Now, this is that same tube. However, there's a second small tube on it. If you look at it very well, you could see it's the same air turbocharger tube that goes to the air filter box. But there's another one that's attached on it. This is more like a rubber, but same plastic feel, you know. So this one goes to the, what's it called? The engine cover, plastic cover, more or less like the PVC. So unfortunately, when you buy a new tube, the assembly, this particular tube, the one that this smaller tube will come with it, but those ones they hardly work. The way they did it, where that place where you attach them on the air, no engine cylinder cover, it doesn't fit in very well, so air will be escaping there from there. There will be vacuum leak there, so it might give you some issues. So because of that, the used ones that are still good are more desirable than the brand new ones. Remember, I said brand new ones in the open market, they don't, in fact, they don't fit in very well. Sometimes as good as they are not, you don't even bother using them because they don't cover that particular place very well where you're supposed to slot them in on the cylinder head cover. So these used ones are the most stolen ones, because that's one people, for example, if I were to advise a customer, a client out there, if you can find a good used one, better for you, since the new one in the market are sort of useless. They don't fit in very well. So don't take this particular one for granted, because it can be swapped in and the bad one will put for you. You wouldn't know. Start your vehicle, start to move until you start getting some turbocharging issues. So mark it as well. Now, this is another part that fails often on turbocharged engines. We call it electro. This is a turbocharger electro valve or solenoid or actuator. I forgot what to call it. Also, there's another name they call it dump valve. So it's electro valve solenoid. This solenoid, I did a video yesterday about it, and the one I modified. So there's a part on it that fails often, that may make it useless, the entire solenoid useless, unless you now do that modification I did. However, before, at least if you are sure the one there is working, mark your own. Once this thing fails, your power will just drop. It's not that expensive, but it could, like I said, majority Nigerians, technicians, these guys I talked about are not honest. They can take anything there just to make more money, put a bad one for you. The car will start to drive until you try to push hard. Like I said, if you are the type that drive normal, they don't push hard, maybe you don't even push beyond 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, you won't even notice anything if they do all this swap. Unless maybe you now travel with the vehicle one day, now realize something is wrong with this car, the power is no longer as it used to. or you scan the vehicle, you can start seeing all kinds of faults. So this solenoid or electro valve, if I were you, I will mark it. All these things is to discourage these guys from taking your ECUs, your parts, vehicle parts, to swap it with a bad one. Now, the next and the important one is the BSM, the engine bay fuse box. Of course, it's not, especially the CAN bus one. It's not all engine bay fuse box that is. In fact, some are not even plug and play. But the ones they did, is it from 2001 or 2002 upward, most Peugeot cars are just plug and play. So it could just take you 5 minutes to remove and put another one. So these things are not also cheap. These are things they can easily swap and put bad one for you. Come start your car and go only for it. And the funny thing is, if this thing is bad, it can actually damage your engine ECU. So this is very serious self. Now, as in, if not for any other thing, this one, take it very seriously, your BSM. Don't joke with it. Mark it. Talking about this one. The one with where it has this particular one. Don't joke with it. Mark the BSM. Some are not even sure. Some cost over 100,000, depending on the model. Now, the second one that I want to, the last one I will now talk about is the engine ECU, which is on this side of, you are looking at now, on the right side. So, this one, let me see if I can, this is the one I'm talking about. This ECU, the engine ECU, of course, it depends on the engine model or Peugeot model, the location might differ. You might be thinking, who is going to steal the ECU? You have no idea. You have no idea. A lot of people are running different kinds of ECUs in their cars. The one they call virgin ECU, free code ECU, this and that. So you can remove a working ECU on your own and put a free code one. Your car will start. You bring in a car, they put a free code one. They have been messed up. Probably they realize that one is blowing black smoke or something. They decide to take yours that is still good and remove the code so that I can sell to another vehicle, a higher money. Now, I'm not saying this one I've experienced where they did it, but I'm just cover all your ground. When there was a time when I was buying car for people, once I buy a car for people, confirm everything is working. First thing, one of the things I do was to mark their engine ECU. But at some point, I stopped. The reason why I stopped was, and I realized about 2 or 3 persons, when they took delivery of their cars, they didn't call me back to ask, oh, they noticed the engine ECU were marked. Or probably they never had a cost to check that area. Then months or even few years later, it will not come up on a conversation that it appeared I didn't do my inspection very well, because if I did, I would have noticed that they changed that the engine ECU there was not the one the vehicle was sold with from brand new, that they changed it at some point in Nigeria, and I didn't mention that the ECU was changed before I made the purchase. So I was like, no, they were thinking because they saw that mark on the ECU, so it probably was one of the ones they bought from the market, because they also do give the mark, those used ones in the in Nigerian market. So I was like, if you had asked me, I would explain. That was the one that did it, not the market. So I realized that all this while probably they had it in mind that I bought a defective vehicle or something, that I bought a car telling that nothing was wrong with the ECU. Yeah, they've changed it before, this and that. In their mind, they were feeling I didn't start, but I said, okay, you know what, I'm done. I'm done doing that. I was not doing that to help them so that nobody will go and tamper with it. The way I mark it is even different from the way those other past sellers mark their own. So I stopped. I don't even bother telling anybody anymore. I just buy, you go, which I did in all mine. So, people have their, so it's not that I'm trying to create bad reputation for me, even trying to help. I just stopped. But now you can do it. Like I said, the reason why I do it is people can actually swap in a defective one that has a problem, even though it can start the vehicle, and maybe it's causing some drivable issues. Swap it because your own is still working well. They will go and remove that code and sell it to higher than they would have sold this defective one. So mark it. But I've never seen where it was stolen. That's what I'm saying, as in terms of swapping and putting a bad one. But I will do it. But every other one that I mentioned before now, the BSM, the catalyst, the catalyst marking it may not really help because it depends on the kind of work that the exhaust do. Anything you put there will burn off unless you do engrave. But like I said, they're not cutting off the cylinder. They just remove what's inside the cylinder. So it's kind of pointless trying to mark it. It's have to trust. So every other thing, the high pressure pump, the ignition coil, the air tube for the turbocharger, the electro valve and turbocharger, all those things market. These are wearable parts depending on the engine model that I mentioned, that some of these technicians or mechanics still swapping, take the good one, put the bad one for some of their customers to sell and make quick money or more money. I see these things. I've had cases where were reported to me. I have one that is even going on right now. So I decided to do this video to warn people that these things are going on. They are happening. You might not know, but they are happening. So you can save yourself from being a victim. At least I'm giving solutions to the ones I know might work for you. Now you can continue to condemn me for trying to what's it called? To damage other people's businesses where they are making their money. I'm now leaking out the secret with my holier than thou, right? Call me bad names, call me all sorts of names, do all those things at the end of the day. You see, no point trying to go into all these things. But if you like, it's a free advice, right? Nobody is forcing you. It's a long video. In fact, if you are listening up to this moment, then you've done yourself good, or maybe bad. If you don't like long videos, I always tell people to stop watching my videos. Some will be small, short, some will be long. It all depends on the nature of what I want to talk about in the video. You don't expect me to spend 2 minutes or 3 minutes to explain all these things in details, how it's done or how you can prevent it from happening to you, simply because you feel entitled that I'm supposed to do a free something the way you want, even when you don't pay me a dime to do it. You are human beings. Anyway, so I hope this video helps, and that's all I have for this.